Fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul. But rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. Knowing, therefore, the terror of the Lord, we persuade men. terrorofgod.com.
This is a terrorofgod.com debate challenge. I'm your host, Jonathan O'Toole. Something has been gnawing and just gnawing on me for decades, and that is this issue of open theism. So I want to issue a debate challenge to any open theists, or whatever you call yourself, moral government theologians, any of these fellows out there who say things like, for example, Pastor Matt Trewhella of Mercy Seat Christian Church has been teaching for at least 30 years that God doesn't know the future in an absolute sense. Pastor Bob Enyart of Colorado teaches that God is a baby God, a learning God, a growing God, that God's the best guesser, but he also doesn't know the future in an absolute sense. Similarly, they may disagree on some points, but there's a common thread between these teachers. Another one, someone who I was on Bob Enyart's radio show many years ago. I've been around Matt Trewhella. Some person I was a former associate, friend of mine, I haven't spoken with in years, Adrian Horian. My sister reported, he says he's a preacher, preaching on social media that either God is time or God is in time. Essentially crapping on the doctrine of God's omniscience. They'll say things like, well, God knows everything there is to know, or God knows. So I'm challenging any of you to a debate. I'll do it written. Adrian, I know you've had a stroke. Okay. If anyone knows how to get this to Adrian, I'll look for his email, get it to him. Pastor Matt, I know you haven't had a stroke. You can still talk. So if Adrian wants to debate me, I'll do it in writing. Or if he wants to appoint someone else, or Pastor Matt, maybe you can represent your position. I know you don't believe all the things that Bob Enyart does, but you have been very clear for decades that God doesn't know the future in an absolute sense. I am ready to debate any one of you. I think that you are not even within, I challenge you and accuse you of not even being within the definition of Christianity, of Trinitarian Christianity, because there can be any kind of Trinity. TNT, okay? The explosive is a trinity of chemicals. The president of Assad of Syria believes in a trinity that is not the Christian Trinity. When you define the characteristics of God, his omniscience, his omnipotence, his sovereignty, his all-knowingness, his omnipresence, when you redefine them and limit them, you start to define other than the God of the Bible, other than the Creator, the real Creator. So, I don't want to go too far into it, but this, you listen to me, Adrian, Pastor Matt, Bob Enyart, or his son, Nathaniel Enyart, or whoever wants to go toe-to-toe with me in writing, on Zoom. I'd prefer it in person. It may take time to arrange, but if we could do it in person, I'll do it. I'm ready to defend the characteristics of God, because this doctrine has permeated uniquely aspects of the pro-life movement in America, and I think it goes right back to why we're failing, where our ancestors, coming out of the Great Awakening and the preaching of Jonathan Edwards, succeeded in overthrowing tyranny, challenging it, facing it down, and we are failing. And I think at the root is extreme theological errors that redefine the nature of God, the God we're talking about, so impotently that there's no way in the world the God that we're preaching can give us the power to overthrow tyranny, because we're preaching a false God. So this is my gauntlet laid down for you. Get in touch with me. O'TooleJW@yahoo.com. WhatsApp +1 816 337 2614, or my contact information is at retaliationmovie.com. I'm working hard. I'm a full-time blue-collar worker, so we'll have to arrange it in a way that would be mutually convenient, but let's make it happen. I'm ready to knock you out. I'm ready for a TKO. I don't think you can defend your positions, either Adrian or someone like that who says that God is in time, God is time, Bob Inyart, Nathaniel Inyart, saying that God is a learning, a growing, or a baby God, or Pastor Matt Truella. God doesn't know the future in an absolute sense. Malarkey. Nonsense. Prove it. Can you debate with me? Are you man enough?
If you're still alive, you can hear this song. You know this world cannot survive, 'cause something's all gone wrong. You may not like hearing it, you may be right in fearing it. This land of ours is dying, and you know it won't be long till it's gone. She can never pay, piling up the bodies she can't hide away. Her godless people failing her, like drunken seamen sailing her, head on upon a deadly reef of greed and moral decay. So don't blame God for the sins of America. America's falling from the ways of the Lord. Don't blame God for the sins of America. Living for the dollar, she'll be dying by the song. Every silver coin, every dollar bill, read the words, "In God we trust," while out of fear we kill. The freedom's just a mockery, communist democracy, materialistic pleasure slaves looking for another thrill. We got $1 million churches, nobody's on their knees. Well, there's so many selfish people who are just doing what they please. You know, we're sending people to the moon. We got a TV set in every room. We're just to watch a world that's dying from starvation and disease. Oh, But if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray, seek my face and turn from their wicked way, then from heaven will I hear, forgive them of their sin